Okay, I'm not doing this again. I'm just assume this is Japanese, so I'm just gonna plug that into Google Translate.
Akane,
And I suppose it means deep red, like the color of blood in Japanese. So it's pretty much fitting because it will be seeing a lot of blood. This game is very bloody. Well, what is Akane, anyways? Akane is a 2.5D arcade slasher. Instead of shooting most of the time, you will be slashing up enemies for the most part. But first, I want to show you something very special. It's called the menu. Well, okay, wait. First, we have to go through the logo, which we can skip, and a loading screen. Now you have to press this mysterious any key. Then another black screen with sounds and stuff, which you can also skip. Now some dialogue, which you can also skip. I know most of you will think, oh, this is not important, and it seems like padding, but a process has to be repeated every time you start up the game. I can understand putting a logo in every game startup, but the whole black screen with sounds and chat in the beginning is just too much. Have it play out once and then put the whole thing in the scenes or story submenu. That way you can still enjoy the story and not be annoyed by this clutter every time when you start up the game. Alright, now that we have the menu, what do I think about it? This is how a menu should look like. Look at that. A play button, controls button, options button, exit button, credits button. Perfection. You got the essentials down, Akane. How does the options menu looks like? Because that's the part that is most important. Individual sound sliders, resolutions in a drop-down menu, and several other things like bloom and particle effects. It is almost perfect. The full screen windowed mode and borderless windowed mode options are missing. Oh, Akane, you break my heart. It is a slight oversight. And yes, I know you can press Alt Enter to go into windowed mode and out of it, but it's about a principle. Just because we know that something works a certain way, we shouldn't let devs miss this kind of stuff, because it's also part of the game. Everything else is pretty good. Akane, you get a gold star for that. Slight misstep here, but otherwise amazing. The main menu has a few other options like gear, tutorial, and a box with missions on the right side. We'll go into those things soon, but one thing that I find really cool is that if you wait for long enough, the background will shift and show scenes of the arena we'll be fighting in. Doesn't change much, but I think it's a nice touch. And a callback to older games in which if you left the main menu up, a demo started playing. I really like those kind of things. First thing we're gonna have a look at is the tutorial. The tutorial greets you with a black screen and some letters which spell out rule zones, July 2098. So we know where it takes place and which year. This is how the game presents itself, black screen, text, and then a cutscene. The game is mostly in the background, and then drawings for the characters are in the foreground, pretty much like a visual novel. I'm not a fan of this kind of style, but the art of the characters just looks so good. I would just buy a poster of those characters and put them on my walls if I could. Anyways, we see young Akane on the left side and her sensei Ishikawa on the right. He tells Akane that she is ready to learn some techniques. Akane wants to learn it, and we go into basics. WASD to move and right click to dash. Pretty standard for arcade shooter. Your main attack is the slash, and you can't aim it. Akane will slash in the direction you are facing, so basically north, east, south, west. There are no diagonal slashes, but the slash that goes to the west or east, they are pretty, forgiving, and they slash like a cone in front of Akane. Slashing costs stamina, which is represented by a white bar under Akane. Should it deplete completely, Akane will be unable to attack for a few seconds, so you have to be careful with your slashes and plan them out if you have, been fighting against a big horde of enemies. This is pretty much the opposite to Bomash, in which you just can flay your sword like a dum-dum, which I do. Your slashes have to be precise and carefully thought out. I still flay my sword around just because, I'm a dum-dum. Ishikawa tells you some bullshit that guns are also part of the samurai tradition, but whatever. One thing that I really admire is that depending on how you configured your keyboard, the buttons that Ishikawa tells you to press in the tutorial will change. Not many devs think about that, but this one did. Again, Good job, Akane. Gold star. For me, it says I have to press mouse 4, which is a side button on my mouse, aim with the mouse and shoot with the left click. You can't move while aiming, so you have to think about when to stand and shoot and when just to walk away. Your guns have some sort of energy bar. It will refill automatically, but you can speed the process up by just killing a bunch of dudes. Next thing Ishikawa teaches you is how to block. I have to press mouse 3, but it might change for you depending on which setup you're using. Blocking will deflect every projectile thrown at you and any slash that goes into your direction. It can also run when defending, so make good use of that. The last thing Ishikawa teaches you is the Dragon Slash. In short, killing enemies will get you blood pumping and will fill a bar at the bottom of the screen. Should it reach a certain threshold, it will grant you with 1 Dragon Slash meter. Press space, aim, and kill everything that was between you and the place you blink through. Good, cut to black and we get another card with Rule Zone set 2099. So it's basically a year later. Does it matter? Yeah, kind of for the world building, but not much. The last thing you learn is from Akane herself, and it's called the Dragon's Lair. In short, fill up every Dragon Slash meter, and instead of pressing space, aiming and left clicking, just press space and right click and then kill everything that is on screen. By the way, I think this is almost useless. I will show why in the next segment. Finishing the tutorial will send you back to the main menu, but the cutscene from the game startup will always play again. Not game breaking, but why? I don't need that scene every time I start up the game or finish a tutorial. Is this here to mask loading times? I don't really know. I don't think it is. It's just annoying. Just get rid of it, like play it once, have like a cutscene menu, and then it's fine. Okay, now that all that is over, we will take a pause from the story for a while until I'm done with the main gameplay loop. After starting the game, you will take over Akane, reach 100 kills, and a boss will appear. Kill the boss and get the next 100 kills, and do the same thing again until you get bored or you die. Killing enemies within a time frame will give you a combo. You can go forever with that combo, but you will have to be fast and fluid with your combat style because this combo meter goes off very quickly. One technique the tutorial doesn't teach you is the mirror slash. If you attack an enemy at the same time as they attack you, you will block their attack. It is really satisfying to do, but there isn't much use since you just want to dispatch enemies as fast as possible. And it doesn't reset your combo. In the beginning, you will have 3 different enemies: katana dudes, a shooter guy, and the giant. After finishing a certain mission, ninjas will start appearing. Katana dudes do exactly what you think they do, shooters do exactly what they think they do, and giants just have more life and different kill animation. Ninjas, on the other hand, are untouchable until they attack you with an unblockable attack, which leaves them vulnerable. Should you shoot at them when they are untouchable, they will reflect your shots and it will kill you. So watch out where and what you're shooting. The boss is always the same guy. It is some disciple of Ishikawa or whatever else, and he wants to kill you for whatever reason. The boss has some dialogue the first time you reach him, and he starts with level 0. After a certain mission, you start with the boss at level 1, and the dialogue changes slightly. Bosses will not break your combo, by the way. It will actually reset your combo meter to full. The boss goes up to level 4, which is the max level. Every level adds an extra mechanic to the boss. For example, level 0 to 1 just uses slashes, and with that strike, it will leave him open to attack. You can either block or dodge the slashes. I prefer to dodge the first 2 attacks and then just block a third one. The level 2 boss will shoot at you sometimes, which you can block, and level 3 onwards will do all the other stuff, plus use dragon slashes sometimes, pretty much like the ninjas do, but he will use it 3 times in a row. So you have to sidestep all the dragon slashes or he will kill you. There is no exception. So this is all you need to know about the main gameplay loop, except for one thing: the dragon slash versus the dragon's lair. One is a blink that kills everything in your path, and the other one is a screen wipe. You see, at some point around 300 kills, there will be a lot of enemies rushing at you. You could use a dragon's lair to kill them all, or you could line them up and kill them with 1 dragon slash, still having 2 dragon slash meters open. Sure, the dragon slayer ability looks cool, but unless you are being rushed and out of stamina, it is basically useless. I use it, because I think it looks cool, but it's not really necessary to use it. Let's move on to the meta game, which is basically made of missions and gear. It works as follows. We have 6 gear slots, and every item you can get can be unlocked by finishing a mission. Missions range from kill a few people to reach the boss with a certain combo and kill him with a special attack. The initial missions will be fine, not much here to see, but later missions can sometimes take the piss, like my favorite mission that took forever. Kill the boss at max level with a special attack. Hey, now would be a perfect time to talk about special attacks. After you unlock one of the katanas, you will have access to a special skill. Holding attack and releasing the button after a while will execute a special attack. One attack will spin you like a Beyblade, and the other one will allow you to throw the katana. Why you would ever throw your sword around is beyond me, but Akane is crazy, so I really believe she would do that. Anyways, the kill the boss at max level with a special attack mission is frustrating, because at max level the boss is quick and annoying, so holding an attack to get to the boss in a tiny vulnerable window has nothing to do with fun or challenge. It just takes forever and is annoying. Sure, you have to improve your skill, but I think this could have been mitigated by letting me jump directly to the max level boss instead of having to kill 300 people first to get to the point in which I can try the mission that requires a very tight gameplay in which the boss can kill you with one hit. Sorry, but that's just... that mission just pissed me off, It took me a while to get through this one. Maybe you won't have bad luck, maybe you can get through the mission in one go, but I just really struggle with that. Well, there are, in general, 33 missions, and I will not go through all of them. Most of them are fun. Most of them require skill. Some of them are grindy, but still require skill. The one I mentioned above was the one that really annoyed me completely. I think I took a full day just to finish this mission. I think that's supposed to be like that, but I'd rather have a challenge than just something that annoys me, and that annoyed me more than it was a challenge, You have to put it on a scale, but whatever, who cares? Nobody cares, right? Anyways, with that, we are done with the main gameplay, and there isn't really much else to talk about, because that's pretty much it. There's nothing more to discover after you finish all the missions. A fellow YouTuber called The Budget Gamer did also review Akane, which you should check out, link in the description, asked me a question, or asked in a video a question once, when is a game too short? And my answer was as follows. How short is too short? I think it goes hand in hand with the question, how long is too long? Too short equals didn't explore the game mechanics enough so that you feel unsatisfied at the end of the game. Too long stretched the gameplay too much and the game became repetitive. Akane left me unsatisfied at the end. After maybe half of the missions, I just got into a routine. I understood every gameplay mechanic, and the only thing I was after were the missions. The arena doesn't change, there's no second or third boss, and there are no new enemies. After slaughtering 100, 200, 300, 3,000 enemies, I just got tired. The gameplay is stretched for far too long, and what do you get for finishing up all the missions? You get access to the final scene in which you can see that Akane killed Ishikawa with a dragon slayer technique because he murdered your family, and that is why the horde of enemies is trying to kill you, and the ninja was a disciple of Ishikawa, so because you killed the master, everyone wants to kill you, blah 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 blah. The story is engaging, but at least I was expecting to fight Ishikawa. Imagine me, talking here, and suddenly the video ends. Yeah, not that great, isn't it? Well, let's move on to recommendations. Yeah, this is totally wanted. I want this review to be unsatisfied. Long review, unsatisfied ending. That's the point. That's my point. Because the game left me with this feeling, so I want to recreate that with this review. Back to recommendations. Akane has a very unique gameplay. It's a flimsy story, but a story nonetheless, and requires at least a little bit of skill to get through. The art style is amazing, the music is blood pumping, and Akane herself is fucking badass. What a woman. Holy fucking shit. I would marry her if I could. I mean, she's crazy and probably dead, by ways of any, but, whatever. I think I can really recommend this to most people. If you like to play 2.5D arcade shooters, then go for it. Anybody else that likes the genre, I don't know. If you want to try something new and see some new art style, maybe get used to pixel art, I recommend Akane since the slash style gameplay is pretty fun and something I never seen before. So yeah, just try it out, I guess. Good. That was long, very long. And my reviews take a while, guys. I have to 100% the games because I'm a achievement hunter. It's basically a curse, Now that I'm doing this, I can see why the completionist is constantly burned out, finishing games every week. How crazy can you be? Anyways, because my reviews take a long time, I like to contact the developers and I like to talk to them, and so I did. Enjoy the interview. Good. Yeah. So first thing I always ask from my developers is that they introduce themselves and tell who they are, what they do, and what the game Akane is. Please.
So, hi, my name is Joel.
Hi.
I am Ludic Studios producer. And our first game is called Akane. It's a slash arena, and the main objective is to kill as many as enemy as possible without getting hit.
Yeah, because you die after one hit.
Yeah, you die with one hit, one hit kill.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I see a lot of comparisons from Akane with Ubermosh, even though I think they are completely two different games because I played all the 7 volumes and plus Akane, so I know the difference. But did Ubermosh influence Akane in any way, shape, or form?
Yes, it was our first similar game that we saw to approach. Another influence was Hotline Miami
Oh yeah.
and Hyper Light Drifter.
Oh, those are both good games. So I think you did pull off the style. It does look like Hyperlife Drifter. Yeah, it reminds me of
Yeah,
that.
the controls and
Yeah.
it's similar.
Yeah, from the games itself, one thing that bothered me the most was at a certain point it gets repetitive. There is no second scenery. There is a story, but it's very simply flimsy. So the first thing I want to ask about that was the black screen in the beginning with the slashing gun sounds. I always thought it was a bug. There was no scene or anything, but it is intentional, right? Like this.
Yeah, it's intentional.
Okay.
We was we were working on the game, and the first thing we have thought was to make the scene, the black scene. We have wanted some animations,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't have the time to do. So
Yeah.
we just left the black screen with the sounds, and it was kind of cool
Yeah, it is definitely innovative,
to let the player imagine what's happening.
Exactly. There is a German saying called I always forget. Um, Scarcity breeds innovation. It's basically it. You said we don't have money to make it, so we're just gonna improvise, and that's I think that's always a good idea to work with what you have. Okay, but the
Yeah,
second thing is the story itself. I played through the game. I got through all the quests. I got the final scene, so I know how it ends. But were you planning to do something different, like more enemies, a second stage, more bosses, and so on, or was this like the whole scope, or was the scope of the game way bigger?
Akane was our first game, So we wanted to make simple.
Mm-hmm.
And the game has a story. It has a beginning and an end, but we want to tell that story in another game, Akane 2 or Akane 3,
Ooh, okay,
or
I
something
see.
like that. We Our first thoughts about the game was just to introduce the mechanic, how the game will work on others projects, in others
Okay.
in the continue. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely makes me happy to hear that you're probably working on a kind of 2 or 3. Uh, yeah. One thing that I like to understand is always how the enemies behave. I'm not a coder, but I have basic understanding of it. So one and sometimes they just fled. They just ran into one direction, even though I was just standing still. I just want to know how you coded the enemy. How was the AI? What is the AI actually supposed to do? How does it works?
uh, the first thing that we have planned for the AI, it was to follow the player.
Mm-hmm.
But the trouble that we have, the enemies was overlapping each other.
Mm-hmm.
So we changed to the enemy AI, to surround the player. So they are always surrounding Akane.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you will see some enemies don't hitting Akane and just going to a random direction, but it's not random. They are just surrounding Akane.
Ah, okay. It makes sense. Yeah, because from my perspective, it looks like, oh, they are just fleeing, and it's okay, but they're actually trying to make a circle around me. Okay. Well, I think the answer about the repetitiveness you already answered. But one last critical question is, why can't you fight Ishikawa as a child?
We have planned to fight Ishikawa as a child, but in the final project we had to cut to make more simple because we was running out of time.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe in another Akane game,
Maybe DLC.
a DLC or something like that.
Okay, yeah, but yeah, I know you guys maybe are working on a sequel. Yeah, that's good to hear. But as far as I know, you guys are from Brazil, yeah, right?
Yes,
And
we are from Brazil.
one of the things I noticed that there are a lot of Brazilian indie games, and there are a lot of Brazilian indie games influenced by Japan and Asian culture. Do you know? Do you know why or where this comes from?
Hmm, I have an idea. Maybe Brazil is one of the largest Japanese community uh,
Oh,
that's not in Japan.
oh, okay.
So we have lots of Japanese in São Paulo. We have a large community of Japanese people
Mm-hmm.
here in Brazil.
Yeah,
So lots of our works, it's uh, it's influenced by that.
yeah, makes sense. I would expect some also German influence because basically the South is all German.
Yeah, here we are from Brazil, but we are in the north. We
Yeah.
are from the Amazonas.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
We
It's
are in
probably
the
a great
middle of the
place.
jungle.
It's probably a great place to live. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I think that's all of the interview. I don't have any questions. I think um, the game is well made. I hope it gets a sequel. But one last question I always like to ask is if you have any advice for the people that are trying to make an indie game.
An advice. Uh, I don't know. Live the dream. No, we have started Akane in a in a game jam.
Hmm.
So I think game jams are really important to start and to know your potential, your own potential.
Yeah.
And maybe that one little game that you make on a game jam, it can grow up and be a really great game with lots of success.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because a lot of games that I try that are like indie and not well known, like yeah, it's the product of a game jam, and then they continued working on it. So yeah.
Yeah, Akane was a product of a game jam. It was Ludum there for 14, 14.6, I think. It was
40.
something like that,
Okay.
yeah. And it was another character. It was not Akane, it was
Mm-hmm.
Saigo,
Mm-hmm.
that he's a super intelligent robot, and
Okay.
he's the last of his kind, and he was dying, and it was the same mechanics. One hit
Okay.
kill, and you have to try to survive.
Yeah.
And we evolved that to Akane.
Yeah, it happens always. I think as an indie developer, you have to reuse your assets and try to, you know, compile something together out of your all of your ideas because of time and
Yeah,
money and resources. All right. Okay. I think that's everything. Now I can say anything. You know, plug everything. I will link everything in the description, and the
all right.
floor is yours.
Live your dreams. We are, but we are from Amazonas. That was in the middle of the forest, and we are make great games. I think
Yeah.
we are not perfect, but it's something. I think.
Yeah. I think so too. It's definitely. Yeah, that's definitely living the
And I think
dream.
that live your dream.
Okay, great.
Big thanks to Joel, who answered my stupid fucking questions. Yeah. And consider trying Akane out. I don't think you will lose anything except for your nerves, maybe. Also, Budget Gamer did a review on Akane, link in the description. Starizard did a review on Akane, also link in the description. Check them both out, send them some love, tell them big hugs from Carlos. As always, I hope you enjoyed the review and the interview. You guys know what to do by now. Subscribe, comment, like, turn on notifications. Do that, take care of yourselves, and have a nice and wonderful day.